Hello, hello, testing. चलें शुरू शुरू करो. औज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम. बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम. अस्सलामु अलैका या फ़ातिमतु फ़क़ुल्तु अलैका अस्सलाम व क़ाला इन्नी अजिदु फ़ी बदनी ज़ौफ़न फ़क़ुल्तु लहू अईज़ुका बिल्लाहि या अबातहु मिनज़ ज़ौफ़ि फ़क़ाला या फ़ातिमतु ईतिनी बिल-किसाइल यमानी फ़ग़त्तीनी बिही फ़अतैतु बिल-किसाइल यमानी फ़ग़त्तैतु बी वसिरतु अंज़ुरु इलैहि व इज़ा वजहुहु यतलालउ कअन्नहुल बद्रु फ़ी लैलति तमामिही व कमालिही फ़मा कानत इल्ला साअतन बिवलदिल हसन क़द अक़बला व क़ाला अस्सलामु अलैका या उम्मह फ़क़ुल्तु व अलैकस्सलामु या क़ुर्रता ऐनी व समरता फ़ुआदी फ़क़ाला या उम्मह इन्नी अशम्मु इंदकी रायहतन तय्यबतन कअन्नहा रायतु जद्दी रसूलिल्लाहि फ़क़ुल्तु नाम इन्ना जद्दका तहतल किसाए फ़अक़बलल हसनु नहवल किसाए वक़ाला अस्सलामु अलैका या जद्दाहु या रसूलल्लाहि अतअज़नु ली अन अदख़ुला माका तहतल किसाए क़ाला व अलैका अस्सलामु व या वलदी व या साहिबा हौज़ी व क़द अज़िनतु लका फ़दख़ला माहु तहतल किसाए फ़मा कानत इल्ला साअतन व इज़ा बिवालिदिल हुसैन क़द अक़बला व क़ाला अस्सलामु अलैकी या उम्मह फ़क़ुल्तु व अलैका अस्सलामु या वलदी व या या उम्मह इन्नी अशम्मु इंदका रायतन तय्यबतन कअन्नहा रायतु जद्दी रसूलिल्लाहि फ़क़ुल्तु नाम इन्ना जद्दका व अहाका तहतल किसाए फ़दनिल हुसैन नावल किसाए फ़क़ाला अस्सलामु अलैका या जद्दाहु अस्सलामु अलैका या मन इख़्तारहुल्लाहु अतअज़नु ली अन अदख़ुला माका तहतल किसाए फ़क़ाला व अलैका अस्सलामु या वलदी व या शाफ़िया उम्मती क़द अज़िनतु लका फ़दख़ला माहुमा तहतल किसाए फ़अक़बला इंदा ज़ालिका अबुल हसन अली इब्नु अबी तालिब व क़ाला अस्सलामु अलैकी या बिन्त रसूलिल्लाहि फ़क़ुल्तु व अलैका अस्सलाम या अबुल हसन व या अमीरल मुमिनीन फ़क़ाला या फ़ातिमतु इन्नी अशम्मु इंदकी रायतन तय्यबतन कअन्नहा रायतुन अख़ी वब्नी अम्मी रसूलिल्लाहि फ़क़ुल्तु नाम हा हुआ माअ वलदैका तहतल किसाए फ़अक़बला अलीयुन नावल किसाए वक़ाला अस्सलामु अलैका या रसूलल्लाहि अतअज़नु ली अन अकूना माअकुम तहतल किसाए फ़क़ाला लहू व अलैका अस्सलामु या अख़ी व या वसिय्यी व ख़लीफ़ती व साहिबा लिवाई व क़द अज़िनतु लका फ़दख़ला अलीयुन तहतल किसाए सुम्मा अतैतु नावल किसाए व क़ुल्तु अस्सलामु अलैका या अबातहु या रसूलल्लाहि अतअज़नु ली अन अकूना माअकुम तहतल किसाए क़ाला व अलैकुस्सलामु या बिन्ती व या बदअती क़द अज़िनतु लकी फ़दख़लतु तहतल किसाए फ़लम्मा तमन्ना जमीअन तहतल किसाए अख़ज़ा अमीर रसूलिल्लाहि बतरा फ़िल किसाए व औमया बियदिहिल युमना इलस समाए फ़क़ाला अल्लाहुम्मा इन्ना हाउलाए अहलु बैति व ख़ासती व हाम्मती लहमुहुम लहमी व दमुहुम दमी युअल्लिमुनी मा युअल्लिमुहुम व यहज़ुनुनी मा यहज़ुनुहुम इन अना हर्बुन लिमन हारबहुम व सिल्मुन लिमन सालमहुम व अदुव्वुन लिमन आदहुम व मुहिब्बुन लिमन अहब्बहुम इन्नहुम मिन्नी व अना मिनहुम फ़जअल सलवातिका व बरकातिका व रहमतिका व ग़ुफ़रानका व रिज़वानका अलैया व अलैहिम व अज़हिब अन्हुम रिस्सा व ताहिरहुम तत्हीरा। अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला मुहम्मद व आलि मुहम्मद। फ़क़ाल अल्लाहु अज़्ज़ा व जल्ला या मलाइकती या व या सुक्काना व समावती इन्नी मा ख़लक़्तु समाअम मबनियतन वला अर्दन मदहियतन वला कमरन मुनीरन वला शम्सन मुदीअतन वला फलकन यदूरु वला बहरन यजरी वला फुल्कन यसरी इल्ला फ़ी महब्बती हाउलाइल ख़म्सतिल लज़ीना हुम तहतल किसाए फ़क़ाल अल अमीनु जबराईल या रब्बी वमन तहतल किसाए फ़क़ाल अज़्ज़ा व जल्ला हुम अहलुल बैतिन नबुव्वती व मादिनु रिसालती व हुम फ़ातिमतुन व अबूहा व बालुहा व बनुहा फ़क़ाल जबराईल या रब्बी अतअज़नु ली अन अहबित इलल अर्दि ला अकूना माअहुम सालिसन फ़क़ाल अल्लाहु नअम क़द अज़िनतु लका फ़हबतल अमीनु जबराईल वक़ाल अस्सलामु अलैका या रसूलल्लाहिल अलिय्युल आला यक़रऊका अस्सलामा व यख़ुस्सुका बित्तहिय्यति वल इकरामि व यक़ूलु लका व इज़्ज़ती व जलाली इन्नी मा ख़लक़्तु समाअन मुबनियतन वला अर्दन मदहियतन वला कमरन मुनीरन वला शम्सन मुदीअतन वला फलकन यदूरु वला बहरन यजरी वला फुल्कन यसरी इल्ला लअजलिकुम व महब्बतिकुम व क़द अज़िना ली अन अदख़ुला माअकुम फ़हल तअज़नु ली या रसूलल्लाह फ़क़ाल या रसूलल्लाह अलैकुमुस्सलाम या अमीना वहयिल्लाह इन्नहु क़द अज़िनतु लका फ़दख़ला जबराईलु माना तहतल किसाए फ़क़ाल लिअबी इन्नल्लाह क़द औहा इलैकुम यक़ूलु इन्नमा युरीदुल्लाहु लियुज़हिबा अन्कुमुर रिज्सा अहलिल बैति व युत्तहिरकुम तत्हीरा अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला मुहम्मद व आलि मुहम्मद फ़क़ाल अली लिअबी या रसूलल्लाह अख़बिरनी मा लिजुलूसिना हाज़ा तहतल किसाए मिनल फ़ज़्लि इंदल्लाहि फ़क़ाल नबिय्यु सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि व आलिहि वल्लज़ी बअसनी बिलहक़्क़ि नबिय्यन वस्तफ़ानी बिर्रिसालति नजिय्यन मा ज़ुकिरा ख़बरुना हाज़ा फ़ी महफ़िलिन मिन महाफ़िलिन अहलिल अर्दि व फ़ीहि जम्उन मिन शिय्यतिना व मुहिब्बिना इल्ला व नज़लत अलैहिमुर रहमतु व हफ़्फ़त बिहिमुल मलाइकतु वस्तग़फ़रत लहुम इला अन यतफ़र्रक़ू फ़क़ाल अलीयुन अलैहिस्सलामु इज़न वल्लाहि फ़ुज़ना व फ़ाज़ शियअतुना व रब्बिल काबति फ़क़ाल अबी रसूलुल्लाहि सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि व आलिहि या अलीयुन वल्लज़ी बअसनी बिलहक़्क़ि नबिय्यन वस्तफ़ानी बिर्रिसालति नजिय्यन मा ज़ुकिरा ख़बरुना हाज़ा फ़ी महफ़िलिन मिन महाफ़िलिन अहलिल अर्दि व फ़ीहि जम्उन मिन शिय्यतिना व मुहिब्बीना व फ़ीहिम महमूमुन इल्ला व फ़र्रजल्लाहु हम्महु वला मग़मूमुन इल्ला व कशफ़ल्लाहु ग़म्महु वला तालिबु हाजतिन इल्ला व क़ज़ल्लाहु हाजतहु फ़क़ाल अलीयुन अलैहिस्सलामु व इज़न वल्लाहु फ़ुज़ना व सुइदना व कज़ालिका शियअतुना फ़ाज़ू व सुइदू फ़िद्दुनिया वल आख़िरति व रब्बिल काबति अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला मुहम्मद व आलि मुहम्मद बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला मुहम्मद व आलिहि फ़िल अव्वलीना व सल्लि अला मुहम्मद व आलिहि फ़िल आख़िरीना व सल्लि अला मुहम्मद व आलिहि फ़िल मलाइल आला व सल्लि अला मुहम्मद व आलिहि फ़िन नबिय्यीना वल मुरसलीना अल्लाहुम्मा आति मुहम्मदन सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि व आलिहि व सल्लमल वसीलता व शरफ़ वल फ़दीलता व दरजता अल कबीरता अल्लाहुम्मा इन्नी आमनतु बि मुहम्मदिन सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि व आलिहि व सल्लम लम अरहा फला तहरिमनी यौमल क़ियामति रुयतहु वरज़ुक़नी सोहबतहु व तवफ़्फ़नी अला मिल्लतिही वस्क़िनी मिन हौदिही मशरबम रबीयल्लाह ज़मअ बअदहु अबदन इन्नका अला कुल्लि शैइन क़दीरुन अल्लाहुम्मा इस्तअमिलनी बिसुन्नती व तवफ़्फ़नी अला मिल्लती व बअसनी फ़ी शियअती वहशुरनी फ़ी ज़ुमरती वजअलनी मिम्मन यत्तबअहु वला तुहजिबनी अन रुयतिही वला तहरिमनी मुराफ़क़तहु हत्ता तुस्किननी फ़ी जवारि बिरहमतिका या अरहमर राहिमीन और मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद।
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها والليل إذا يغشاها والسماء وما بناها والأرض وما طحاها ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها كذبت ثمود بطغواها إذا انبعث أشقاها فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها فكذبوا فعقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها ولا يخاف عقباها صدق الله العلي العظيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم قل وليك الحجة الحسن. O Allah, shower blessings on the chosen one, your proof, your Hujjah, son of al-Hassan, blessings on his forefathers, every single one, and on him in this hour we're in, and every other hour. He is our guardian, protector, leader, a helper, and I approve, make him live on earth in obedience to you. Cause him to live in it for a long time. Recite the loud salawat for Imam Muhammad, may these sahabas manu Islam, Okan. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع الله بإذنه يوم بيده مخلوفهم لا يحيطون بشيء إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما هو العلي العظيم صدق الله العلي العظيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والتين والزيتون وطور سينين وهذا البلد الأمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون فما يكذبك بعد بالدين أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين صدق الله العلي العظيم صلوات.
Assalamu alaikum. First of all, request for ones who have Fatiha, include the name on our memorial board, your Mahumin, and sponsors of today's program, dear Marhumin, one Surah Fatiha. Next week, as I mentioned last week also, there will be a Yam Fatmiya program, 3 days Majalis. It's starting from 21st, Friday 21st of November to Sunday 23rd of November. That will be before the Thanksgiving weekend, long weekend. And inshallah, Maulana Sayyid Anis Raza Naqvi Sahab from Toronto, Canada will be here. This is a series of 3 majalis. There will be 1 majlis in ladies on the day of Shahadat. That will be 23rd of November. And there will be a female speaker in the ladies, inshallah. So on the Sunday 23rd, there will be 2 programs, 1 in ladies and 1 here. And 2 speakers, in fact, program will be 1. Today I'm very thankful to Brother Komail Momin. He has been here, and then again welcome to Zanabi Islamic Society, and I would like to thank him for accepting this invitation and to come here and address this majlis. Today is a Majlis-e-Aza, so with your loud salawat, I would request Brother Komail Momin to come to the member and address the majlis. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
Another loud salawat, please. I have one rule when I'm addressing the community, whether it be on the mic or without. I know Zainabia has its own rules, but my one rule is this. When we do durood, we do it together, we do it loud. I'll explain why. See, the angels wait for us to recite durood. When we recite durood as lovers of the Ahlul Bayt, a light shines, like how we look up in the sky at the 4th of July. They wait for events like this to look down from the heavens on the earth and see the light shining from the earth. A light they can't produce, because the love and the blessings that mankind can bring to Prophet Muhammad when he asks for durood cannot be matched from the angels in heaven. So they wait for this event. That's one reason. The other reason is, as we come here as the lovers of the Ahlul Bayt, if you see Islam means submission, when you give up your inhibitions, when you stop being shy, when you give everything you can for the love of Bibi Fatima and the house of Bibi Fatima, it changes the information you get. It changes the ambiance, it changes the environment, it changes your intelligence, it changes everything that comes in that event. So don't be shy in your durood. And third reason is, we're having the remembrance of the house of Bibi Fatima. Inshallah, Bibi Fatima comes here, right? We've heard that since we were little kids, right? You guys heard it? Ali uncle heard it. I've heard it. I believe it. Imam Muhammad Mehdi Sahib was Zaman alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wajal for him. He comes too, doesn't he? And if they're here, don't you want your voice to be heard above everybody else, so they hear your voice sending blessings on their house? Now, before we do durood, loud and together. And if we don't do it loud and together, I'm going to ask to do it again. I'm just letting you know. I want to ask you something. Women, men, Bibi Fatima's here. Imam Muhammad Mehdi Sahib was Zaman alayhi salam is here. Fine, we're going to talk about why Bibi Fatima is not on this earth, but our living Imam is. And he's here with us. Where is he? That's our fault, we can't see him. That's our doing. That's our shortcoming that we can't see him in this room. Let's stop that today. Now, together, let's do a loud durood. Bar Muhammad wa ala Muhammad salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wajal faraja. One more time louder. Bar Muhammad wa ala Muhammad salawat. Allahumma Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wajil farajum. Inshallah, we'll work on that. Now, please, for our deceased, the gift of Fatiha, let's send them the blessings of 2 Qurans. On behalf of all of our marhum, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajum. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Every praise belongs to Allah, Lord of the worlds, the most beneficent, most merciful. Master of the day of judgment, I serve only you. I beseech your help in everything that I do. Keep me on the straight path, the path that is true, the path of those who have gained favors by you, not the path of those who have earned your wrath, nor those who deviated from your guided path. Surah Ikhlas. In the name of Allah, the blessing giver, the sin forgiver, say Allah is one. Except for Allah, we need no one. He has no parents, no daughter, no son. Allah is the unique one. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Qul hu Allahu ahad. Allahu samad. Lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, most merciful. Say Allah is the singular numeral. There's nothing but Allah we need in this world. He begets not, nor begotten is He. Allah is the only OG. May Allah send blessings on Muhammad's family. May He quickly return my living Imam to me. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farajum. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farajum. And now I'm going to recite the praise of Allah. And once in a while I like to explain why. You know, if you read any sermon, any statement by the Ahlul Bayt, even Imam Muhammad Bakr when he was 2 years old and he was Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wajil farajum, and on the way from Kufa to Sham, he was whenever he would speak, whenever he would let people know who they were, he would always praise Allah first. In Nahjul Balagha, in the sermons of Bibi Fatima, sermons of Imam Ja'far Sadiq, the first thing they do is they praise Allah. So let's start with the praise of Allah. The most famous, yet unrecognizable, subtly present, but undeniable. I can't even look at you, but I see you everywhere. There's nowhere to find you, but when I need you, you are already there. Delicate like air, but more vital. Decider of my survival, my only provider. You are also my withholder. Nothing is older than you. Are always new. I always knew you are the original, unstoppable, monumental. Nothing confidential, no need to confide. From the hidden one, you cannot hide. Always succeeded, never tried. You make everything happen, but you never do, never move. There's nothing more powerful than you. Are always one. Never two. There is no God other than you. You are the truth. No one can dispute. You are the cause of every root. Veils of separation between me and you leaves me with no semblance of your resemblance. Since you created my stream of consciousness, it amounts to this. Not even the depths of my imagination can fathom He who is above creation, complete with no iteration. Oh, uncreated, greater than anticipated, never outdated, because time is what you made it. It is because you say it with no speech. Giver of knowledge, no need to teach. Too far for me to reach. You are the closest thing to me. The all-seeing, the knower of everything, creator of eternity, only you are worth worshiping. It is you who nourished me. Everything I have, you furnished me from your kingdom, never diminishing, limitless. Your praises are the best remedy, healing me with your mercy. I am unworthy, and you are beyond outer worldly, but you have always heard me, never hurt me. Protect me from myself. Ya Allah, I fear you and nothing else. The only thing worth fearing is He who is always endearing, always gentle, my greatest defender beyond a mentor, because I can never be like you. You are unique, true manifestation of mystique, always strong, never weak. You talk to me, but never speak. When I speak to you, you answer me, my provider, my Lord, my everything. Give me an abundant share of every possible blessing that you bring. Forgive all of my transgressions. Allow your loved ones to stand in my intercession and unite me with Imam Mahdi Sahib Zaman, no hesitation. Bar Muhammad wa ala Muhammad Sawat. Salli ala Muhammad wajil farajum. I want to change up my original plan for today, and I want to speak to the younger ones. My son, very beautiful Quran reciters out front here. My old friend Habib. You know, me and Habib are past the time where this matters as much to us. You know, we're OGs. We don't care what people look at us, how people see us. But I know growing up your age, junior high school, elementary school, running around the neighborhood, riding your bikes. These days you guys have e-bikes, riding those around, popping wheelies. You want to be like your friends. Why don't people see me like everybody else? Why don't people think I'm like one of my neighbors, right? How could I fit in? How could I fit in? How could I fit in? You're never going to fit in. Never going to fit in, and today I'm going to tell you why, right? Whenever anybody sees you, they see a Muslim. No matter how hard you try to be something else, when they look at you, they're going to see a Muslim. And when they look at your actions, they're going to see how a Muslim acts. You have no choice. I'm going to tell you why. See, it comes first with the intention, right? Yeah, you should have an intention for everything. Every morning when you wake up, you should have an intention for waking up. If you're waking up to go to school, I'm waking up to go to school, that's your intention for the day. Every morning when you wake up, you should have your intention for the day. You should have intention for when you wake up and your intention for why you're Muslim. Every day you should think about that. Every single day you should make an intention why you're getting up and why you're Muslim. I'll give you an example. There's a man who used to follow the Prophet around. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam around. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wajil farajum. He used to follow him around, be in his company all the time. One time, sometimes there were battles, and before he even swore allegiance to the Prophet, he would bring provisions from his own money and give it to the Muslims to help in battle. When during Battle of Khaybar, this man was given an opportunity to be the successor of the Prophet. Prophet said, whoever brings me victory today, at this Battle of Khaybar, will be my successor, right? 200 men, 300 men he took and he failed. On the day that Prophet Muhammad revealed his prophecy, in fact, he said the first person to accept me will be my successor. This man was there. His entire life, Prophet's entire life, this man followed him around. And people looked at him, and said that this man must be a good Muslim. But his intention was not there. So no matter how hard Abu Bakr tried, he was nothing but a fraud. And then there was Hazrat Ali alayhi salam. And we know who the successor of the Prophet was, no other than the Lion of God, the man whose name is known in the heavens more than it was on earth, Hazrat Ali alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wajil farajum. No matter how hard he tried, it was all about his intention. Now, forget about Abu Bakr. We'll deal with him later. Allah tells us about the intention. You see, every time before we start these programs, we do Hadith-e-Qissa. And in Hadith-e-Qissa, when the Panjatan Panj, Prophet Muhammad, Bibi Fatima, Hazrat Ali, Imam Hassan, and Imam Hussain, when they're under the cloak, right, what happens? Is Allah calls all the angels. You see, Allah is the one who people speak to. The angels go around his throne. You see, there's a member here, right? Allah has a throne. So last time I spoke here, I sat on the member. It's kind of weird. So I tried to remember not to do that. You know what I'm saying? And then Ali Uncle asked me to speak in Urdu. And he remembered telling me not to Urdu that again. You see what I'm saying? Funny dad joke, right? You see, I'm a dad. So it's my responsibility to tell dad jokes, right? Your responsibility is to wait for the Imam. I asked you in the beginning, where's the Imam? Where's the Imam? He's here. Do you believe he's here? Right? Do you believe he's here? Do you believe he's here? Where is he? We can't see him because of our own shortcomings, so what should we be doing? My dear friend, Habib, buddy, every time I talk to him, he talks to me about the day of judgment. Every time. Thank you. Every time he talks to me about that. And I tell him about our responsibility. What should we be doing? The world is falling apart. There's people lying to us, subjugating us, spying on us. What's our responsibility? How are we going to make the Imam come? Such a big weight on our shoulders, right? What should we be doing, right? Me as a dad, I tell dad jokes, right? And I just identify us as Muslim. People are going to look at us and what is our responsibility? See, we're not just Muslim. Now let's talk about this intention for a little bit, right? When Allah, see, the angels speak to Allah. Mankind speaks to Allah. Allah doesn't speak to us. He sent the Quran down. Read this, right? He sends Jibreel down here to talk to him, right? But one time, in Surah Baqarah, it talks about Allah speaking to the angels. What do? He gathered all of creation, and he said, this is Adam. Bow before this creation, right? Allah spoke to all the angels and said to bow before this creation. Iblis didn't. First sin was racism, wasn't it? Iblis didn't want to bow because I'm created better than you are, right? Islam, what does Islam say about racism? First sin is racism, jealousy, right? Now the next time, see, Iblis was a jinn, and he thought he prayed for 100,000 years standing up. I can't even pray for 10 minutes standing up. I get tired. Pray for 100,000 years standing up, and because of that, he had a high stature and in the highest level of Jannah, right? And he thought he was special. And so the day Allah spoke to all of creation, he said, this creation is superior, so bow to it. Iblis said, what about me? What about me? And Allah said, what do you want? What do you think? You think you deserve something? What do you want? What did he ask for? He didn't ask for forgiveness. He said, okay, I'm sorry, Allah. I made a mistake. He said, no, I'm going to corrupt this creation of yours. Give me the ability to do that. Give me respite till the day of judgment so I'm not put in hell right now. Respite till the day of judgment. He asked for bad things, and Allah gave it all to him. Ask for good things. Allah will give those to you too and more, right? Shaitan asked for these bad things, and Allah gave it to him. And then another day came. Another day came when there was another angel watching and wanted his right, and this was the night of the event of the cloak, Hadith Kissa. Under the cloak were Prophet Muhammad, Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, Hazrat Ali and Bibi Fatima Tazara, wa Buha wa Ba'luha wa Banuha, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, wa ala Muhammad, wajil farajum. And Allah gathered all the angels around again. All angels who've been speaking to Allah. Now Allah speaking back to them again. And what did he say? He said, under this cloak are those who I created the world for. The sailing ships, the oceans, the rotating planets, the cosmos, the sun, the moon created for them. So what did he say? He said his intention, right? My intention for creation were these under the cloak. And like I said, there was another angel watching, and he said, what about me? And that angel was Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam. And what did Hazrat Jibreel do? He asked Allah. He said, Allah, may I go and be amongst them? No jealousy, no pride. He said, Ya Allah, they're so great. I love you so much. Can I please go be amongst them? And Allah said yes, and he flew down, and what happened? He asked Prophet Muhammad for permission, and then he entered the cloak, right? No jealousy, no pride, right? But I love them. I want to be included too. You see the difference in intention, right? Now, as I said, Allah told us his intention for creation was these personality. And we're going to talk about how his intention for creation was Bibi Fatima, right? You know, in the Bible, right? They changed the Bible so much. So many things change in the Bible. One of the most famous lines in the Bible is, God said, let there be light, and there was light, right? God said, let there be light, and there was light. Now, if this is Allah's first creation, it would have to be the most best creation, or somebody could say he needed practice, right? It would have to inherently, logically be his best creation, or else people could say, hey, you need practice. You created the light and something better, right? So the light would have to be his best creation. Now, only through the Sirat al-Mustaqim, the path of Hazrat Ali, do we know what that light was. Because that light was the creation of Muhammad, Fatima, Ali, Hassan, and Hussein. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. And that was his intention. He said that on the night of the event of the cloak. He said, I created the world for them, right? But I said he created for Bibi Fatima. What does that mean? See, look at the light. Look at the components of the light. When you see the components of the light, you could look at the periphery of the light, and it's lighter than the middle of the light, right? I'm looking at it now, and my eyes are burning because I can't look at the intense part of the light. That intense part of the light is where he created Bibi Fatima Tadara from. That's why she's the lady of light. Fatima means illuminated one. Fatima one's the one who restrains from sin, the one who restrains from temptation, right? Fatima means of light, okay? And she's created from the most intense part of the light. Now, what does that mean? The rest of the light is a product of the most intense part of the light, isn't it? The intense part of the light is the light. And the rest of the light is a product of the light. And that's why Prophet Muhammad says, I am from them, they are from me. That's why Prophet Muhammad says about Bibi Fatima, you heard her, you heard me. He says about Bibi Fatima, she's my soul. He means that literally. He doesn't mean it figuratively. See, when Prophet Muhammad speaks, everything he says is the truth. Literal, subjective, objective, it all means it's all the truth. So when he says, I am from Fatima, what does he mean? Allah created Bibi Fatima from the most intense part of that light. So everything created from that, the periphery of that light is the rest of the Panjatan, right? That was his creation for intention. And that's his creation for the entire world. His intention for the entire world. Allah's intention for the entire world is Bibi Fatima Tazara. What do I mean by that? right? Imam Muhammad Mehdi Sahib was Zaman al-Islam was going to come, right? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. For mankind is created, right? Why are we different? Okay, so Allah created mankind. He sent Hazrat, I read two different riwayat. One is he sent Hazrat Jibreel. One is he sent Hazrat Israel, the angel of death, to take the dirt from earth and bring it to Allah. And he brought it in two hands. People, the right hand, it talks about in Surah Al-Waqi'ah, people, the left hand. And he took this matti, right, and he made clay out of it for 40,000 years. Then he shaped it, and then he put it in front of his throne, and the angels did tawaf of it for 40,000 years, right? And then what happened was, he created mankind. Now Allah's throne, as I said, that's where the angels circle. You can't. Allah's not confined to any time or space. So to visit Allah, Allah has His throne, and on the throne at the top is written His name. Then Muhammad, Ali, Fatima, Hassan, Hussein. Okay, and those most shining part of the throne. And on this throne, He created gems. He created jewels, right? Like anything anyone's ever seen, right? And these are on His throne. And after He created the body of mankind, He took the most beautiful gem from His throne, and He created the body of the Ahlul Bayt. He created the body of the 14 Masumin. And after He created the bodies of the 14 Masumin, there was some leftover part of the gem. And you know what He did with that? He created our hearts. The hearts of those who love Bibi Fatima, the hearts of those who love Hazrat Ali, those are our hearts. And that's one reason why we're different. The next reason why we're different is on the day that Imam Hussein was born, Bibi Fatima cried because she was told what was going to happen to her son Hussein. She asked, is Ali going to be there? Is Hassan going to be there? Am I going to be there? And her father said no. And she said, who is going to cry for my son? And Allah promised on that day to make a nation of people who will never stop crying for Imam Hussein. So not only is our physical component different, we are a product of Bibi Fatima's dua. That is why we're here. You think my father came from Pakistan to here to become an engineer so I could wear some nice clothes, get my kid here, meet Habib, and then talk, we could have a better life than in Pakistan. People have better education? That's what you think. Allah called us here, specifically called us here, so we could tell people about Bibi Fatima and Imam Muhammad Mehdi Sahib was Zaman al-Islam in a part of the world that needed to hear about it. That's our duty. That's why we're here. And I'll explain to you how I'm certain of this. How I'm certain of this. That is why we are created, right? We're created to cry for Imam Hussein and to call people, right? For Imam Muhammad Mehdi Sahib was Zaman al-Islam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Wajil farajum. See, Bibi Fatima Zahra. Okay, actually, let's back up. Hazrat Ali alayhi salam, the defender of Islam, defender of Prophet Muhammad, defender of Bibi Fatima Zahra. When Prophet Muhammad was dying, he told his brother, his companion, his friend, Hazrat Ali alayhi salam, his successor, he said, don't raise your sword. Be patient in raising your sword until your companions stand beside you. Do not raise your sword, right? This is very important. Do not raise your sword. Lion of God, do not raise your sword. He also gave him some other responsibility. He finished the Quran, right? Take all of our notes from the Quran, compile them after my death, and make sure the Quran is compiled, right? So these are the two of the instructions he gave him, right? So first instruction was, don't raise your sword. Don't be violent, right? You know, on the day of Ashura, a couple days before Ashura, when the Qafila of Imam Hussein had reached Karbala, and they were setting up the tents near the Farat. Hazrat Umar bin Saad had come and said, move the tents. And Hazrat Abbas said, no, he took his sword out. Imam Hussein said, move the tents. We're not going to fight. You know who else wanted to keep the tents where they were at? Imam Zainul Abidin. You see, when you talk about Imam Zainul Abidin, we hear about him being sick. We hear about him being peaceful after Karbala, right? We don't hear that he was a great soldier too. We don't hear about the fact that people feared his sword too. He was Qamar Bani Hashim. He was trained by Hazrat Abbas. He was the grandson of the Lion of God. You don't think he knew how to defeat enemies? You don't think he was brave? And he told his father, Hussein, right? Just like I used to challenge my father. My father would tell me the right thing, and I would say, why? And Imam Zainul Abidin on that day told his father, right? He said, why don't we just set the tents up, let them attack us, we'll kill them. Hazrat Abbas is here, I'm here, you're here. They're bringing thousands of soldiers, and now is the time. so they don't take your sister's hijab. Now is the time. And Imam Hussein looked at his son, Imam Zainul Abidin. He said, soon you'll be Imam. When you're Imam, you do it your way. Now I'm Imam, we do it my way. Said that to Imam Zainul Abidin. Imam Zainul Abidin put his sword down, moved the tents, and we know what happened after that. Then when Imam Zainul Abidin had a chance, did he take revenge on the killer, on the people who brought atrocities on the house of Fatima? No. It was Mukhtar who did that. In fact, Imam Zainul Abidin gave amnesty, gave safety to the Umayyads when the Abbasids were hunting them, didn't he? Right? So Marwan, Ubaidullah, whoever was being hunted, he let them come and stay at his ranch in safety, even though they were the ones that had just massacred his family. He didn't take revenge on them. So when Bibi Fatima al-Zahra, when she was leaving the Darbar after they had stolen Fadak from her, right? Fadak was a land that Prophet Muhammad had given Bibi Fatima before his death, right? Abu Bakr decided that he wanted the land and took it from her and said it was an inheritance. And then even if it was inheritance, it would have been given to her. And she proved this, but he took it anyways. And Bibi Fatima al-Zahra didn't say Ali's going to take revenge. Didn't say Hassan Hussein is going to take revenge. She said my grandson, Mehdi, is going to take revenge for every single atrocity you brought on my house. Mehdi is going to take revenge. Not Imam Musa Kazim, not Imam Muhammad Bakr, none of his grandsons, none of her sons. Revenge on the house of Fatima is for Imam Muhammad Mehdi Sahib Zaman alayhi salam. Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wajil farjum, and his companions. And his companions. People would ask Hazrat Ali alayhi salam, his friends would ask him, who are the best Muslims, luckiest Muslims of all time? Hoping they would say, hey, it's you guys. You were in the presence of the Prophet. You're the presence of me. You saw the light of Fatima. It's you guys. You guys are the best Muslims of all time. You know what he said? He said, the best Muslims, luckiest Muslims of all time are going to be those for who 1,000 years imamat will be lost on them. For 1,000 years, not only will there be veil separating them from Allah, but veil separating them from their Imam. And they will testify the existence of the Imam and will call for the Imam and wait for the Imam. And they're the luckiest Muslims of all time. Who does that sound like? Does that sound like you? It does, doesn't it? Does it sound like you? Does it sound like you? Ali Jawad's not paying attention. Does it sound like you? Right? That's us. We are the ones that Bibi Fatima prayed for, that Bibi Fatima called for on that day when she said, my grandson Mehdi is going to come. We are going to come with him. We're going to stand with him. But we need to understand what our responsibility is. Right? Hazrat Ali understood what his responsibility is. You don't think he could have defended Bibi Fatima al-Zahra? Right? He defended her before. He defended her before. See, Abu Bakr was with Prophet Muhammad during Hijrah, the first Hijrah, when Prophet Muhammad left from Makkah and went to Medina, right? He was with him. He was with him in the cave. He actually offered him a camel, and Prophet Muhammad paid for it. I'm going to buy this camel, so I'm riding my camel, not yours. And he was in the cave when people were hunting Prophet Muhammad, right? Where was Hazrat Ali? He was in Prophet Muhammad's bed, right? And after that day, when Abu Sufyan, the father of Muawiyah, when he wanted, the grandfather of Yazid, when he wanted to kill Prophet Muhammad, they say, where's Muhammad? Where is he? They said, oh, he left. Well, let's get him back here. Prophet Muhammad left with, so he took some men with him. Most of the men left with him. Only one staying was Hazrat Ali alayhi salam, while the rest of the men had left. And they said, how are we going to get Muhammad back here? So Abu Sufyan said, let's kidnap his daughter. You want Muhammad to come? Go take his daughter. And so they came with this plan. They took camels. They took 25 camels. They took 75 men. And they surrounded the house of Bibi Fatima, the house of Bibi Fatima bint Asad, the mother of Hazrat Ali, the house of Bibi Fatima al-Zahra, the daughter of Prophet Muhammad. And they had the women come out and they tied them on top of camels, and they thought that they were in the clear. And a man jumped out of nowhere and said, Allahu Akbar. And the first two men he saw, he defeated them. And the rest of the men saw this. And Abu Sufyan said, the man with the wide eyes is here, run. And everybody fled. Everybody fled. And Hazrat Ali looked up at Bibi Fatima al-Zahra on the camel. They weren't married yet. They were not married yet, right? But Prophet Muhammad left him to take care of Bibi Fatima Tadara. This is my amanat, he said to her. This is my amanat. He said the same thing to her when he married the two of them together. This is my amanat. When he was dying, he said, take care of my amanat. And on this day, Hazrat Ali looked up at Bibi Fatima Tadara. He said, are you okay? Are you hurt? So how can anybody hurt me when I'm under the care of the Lion of God? Hazrat Ali took the camels and he walked from Makkah to Medina. He walked so the women would see him and they would understand that they were safe because Hazrat Ali is with them. Understand that? They see Ali and he walked with them from Makkah all the way to Medina. And Prophet Muhammad asked what's coming ahead. And somebody said, there's some young man walking with a bunch of camels. He said, that's my brother Ali. He ran to him and he embraced him. And Hazrat Ali looked at him and he said, here's your amanat. He asked him, he said, did you walk this whole way? He said, of course. I have your amanat with me. And one day, Hazrat Ali alayhi salam, the Lion of God, took the body of Bibi Fatima Tazara to Jannatul Baqi, to the grave of Prophet Muhammad, and he said, I have your amanat with me. I have your amanat with me. You see, Umar had come to the house of Ali, knocked on the door, and asked for bayat, and Hazrat Ali came to the door. He came outside and he said, I'm not going to give you allegiance, and I'm not going to come to the courtyard. Leave me alone. I'm writing the Quran down. Don't come to this door again, and don't send anybody else. Hazrat Ali told him this. And Umar went back, and he told everybody waiting for the allegiance. Abu Bakr was there. Did you get allegiance? He said, nah. Ali said, don't come back. Don't come back. Don't send anybody. I'm busy. I'm writing the Quran. And then Umar said, I'm going to send my servant, Ghanfus. He said, I'll come with you too. So they went, knocked on the door of Ali. No one answered. When Fus heard and came back, he said, Fatima's inside. The children are inside. Abu Bakr said, if they don't come out, burn the house down. Tell them you're going to set the house on fire and see what happens. So they went back again. This time with torches, this time with more men knocking on the door. This time with more torches knocking on the door. And there was no answer. There was no answer. And they threatened, we're going to burn the house down. No answer. Bibi Fatima was making dinner. Right? She was. I heard, much as she was stirring the chane. The soldiers went back, and Abu Bakr said, "You took fire. Did you light anything on fire? Go and get me allegiance." And now, as you know, when a mob develops, the more you go, the more angry you are. More people join the mob, and now there's an angry mob at the door of Bibi Fatima Tadara. Knocking on the door, banging on the door. Bibi Fatima Tadara heard instructions from Hazrat Ali alayhi salam not to bother him. She would never bother him, but not to call him because he was reading the Quran, right? A man in the crowd had heard Hazrat Ali say he's not going to lift a sword. And he said, hey, we can go inside and take them. Ali's not going to lift a sword. Because why would anybody attack the house of the Lion of God? Are they crazy? He said, no, he's not going to lift a sword, trust me. Not going to lift a sword, trust me. I was reading hadith today about Bibi Fatima preparing, and it said that on the day of judgment, there's going to be a voice, and it's going to speak to everybody. It's going to say, put your gaze down. Let Fatima enter Jannat. Everybody, all of creation, put down your gaze. Bibi Fatima Tazara is going to enter Jannat. And when Bibi Fatima Tazara heard the beating on the door, she all of a sudden grabbed it and frantically grabbed her hijab and put it on. Frantically grabbed her hijab and put it on because she knew the kind of disrespect that was going to happen from these people, even though on the day of judgment there was going to be, everyone's going to have to lower her gaze. And they started burning the roof of the house. They started kicking the door. They started punching the door. And when we're talking on Fus, he said, burn this door down. Burn this door down. Bibi Fatima Tazara had her hands on the top of the door. She said, don't you know this is the door that revelation came through? Don't you know this is the door that your prophet would stand here and give salam to his family? Right? Don't you know this is the door? And Umar said, no one loved the prophet more than I did, but I'm going to burn the house down anyways. I know who's in there. Liar. I love you, Fatima, but I'm going to burn this down. It's not going to stop me. Liar. So he told Confucius, Bibi Fatima Zahra held the door with her two hands. He told Confucius, said, burn the door down. before he burned the door down, he kicked it one last time. The door was already ashy, already on fire. He kicked it one last time, and the door fell. The logs of the door was made of wood. They started to separate, and one of the pieces of wood hit Bibi Fatima in her stomach. All the first thing she said, Ya Mahdi. Ya Mahdi. You know, in Jannat, her name is Mansura, means the helper. And our living Imam, his name is Mansur, means the helper. It says that nobody prepared for the coming of Imam Zamana more than Bibi Fatima. And how did she prepare? I'll tell you how she prepared after I tell you that when this log hit her stomach and pierced her stomach, she called her nursemaid Fida. She said, hey Fida, come. My baby Mohsen is shaheed. My baby Mohsen is shaheed. And Bibi Fida came and helped her. Hazrat Ali came out and he grabbed one of the men and threw him to the floor. And he said, if my prophet didn't instruct me, I would have cut you in half. And one of the men looked at Umar. He said, I told you he's not going to lift his sword. Tie his neck up. Tie his neck up. And they put a rope on his neck. The man who lifted the door for Khaybar, they're going to tie him with the rope. And they tied his hands and they tied his neck. And Bibi Fatima Zahra held on to his abaya. And she said, you're not taking my imam. Not my husband. Not my protector, my imam. Pay very close attention to this, my brothers, my sisters. Bibi Fatima said, you are not going to take my imam. And Umar took his whip, and he whipped Bibi Fatima's hand so she'd let go of it. She had this scar on her hand till she died. It says another man took the butt of his sword, and he hit her hand with the sword, right? Bibi Fatima let go of the abaya, and they dragged Hazrat Ali out. Bibi Fatima Zahra, broken ribs, scars on her hand, was laying there. Imam Hussein, less than 5 years old, Bibi Kulthum, 6-month-old, Bibi Zainab, a year and a half. What did Bibi Fatima do? Lay there and cry? She got up and she went to tell everybody who the Imam is. She went to make sure everybody knew Hazrat Ali was the Imam. She went to tell everybody door to door, don't you know what they did to your Imam? Go and tell them to release your Imam. Went everywhere to let everybody know who the Imam was. And that's what we should be doing. No matter what happened, no matter what atrocity befell on her, she called for the helper, our Imam, our living Imam, Imam Muhammad Mehdi Sahib Zaman alayhi salam. And she went and told everybody about Imamat. So we would know what our job is. We would know what our job is. We would understand there's people running around telling us about Jesus, right? There's people telling us what's going on. Everywhere you go to the beach, you go to the store, you go to the mall. On Sunday morning, knock, 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 Jesus is coming. Let me tell you, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Nothing to trust. In a world full of lies and suffering and pain, I hear the world crying. I'll never stop waiting. Jesus is arriving. Constantly reminding, shouting, and signing. But when he's here, don't you fear that you won't recognize him? Last time he rose, they opposed and denied him. They acted like fools, ridiculed and chastised him. He was God-proof. He spoke the truth, but they said he was lying. Instead of trusting his word, they were lured by mankind's enemy from the beginning of the world, and they decided to crucify him. Alone on the cross, no one stood beside him. He would not despair. He is God's Spirit. His fate is so great, only God could decide it. His memory would never be erased, no matter how hard they tried it. Do you question if the master of the day of resurrection can take a life and then rise it? He created the heavens and decides who he puts inside it. No need for rebirth. When he returns to this earth, was his descendant beside him. Preparation for his arrival. It's inscribed in the Bible. Read Matthew 16:18. It implied it. His church on earth, Peter was the rock. His building block, now Simon would rise it. The two DNA strands of the clan of Abraham would be reunited. All the prophets would hail from the divine bloodlines of Ismail and Isaac. Look at the good book. It's written inside it. Genesis clarifies it. From one branch of the tree, the Virgin Mary and her son, the descendants of Isaac. So if God does what he says, from Isaac's loins came Jesus, why would he fail the lineage of Ismail? And how could anyone deny it? Jesus is coming. We should all be excited. It is the hour of tyranny, greed, and false power, and he's going to fight it. But he won't stand alone like he did a long time ago when they chose to crucify him. He will be alongside Al-Qaim, the descendant of the Spirit, the descendant of the Lion, the grandson of the chosen one, God's love and the light. And when they arrive, don't be surprised when Jesus prays behind him. The lovers of Jesus won't be able to deny him. He will have the light inside him, the light that could only be outdated by He who said be, and it was created. Even before time, and Muhammad Mehdi is a master of time and the proof and an eye, guardian, protector, leader of yours and helper of yours and mine, and we will recognize Him, and He will recognize us, the lovers of Jesus, and we will stand beside Him. We pray in this hour for our Lord who hath the most power to strengthen and guide them, give them sweet success with ease, protect them from their enemies and anyone with intentions to fight Him. Bless us with their presence for too long. We've been denied it. You see, it's our responsibility to tell people when Jesus comes, He's going to be a deceiver. But when Jesus comes with our living Imam Muhammad Mehdi Sahib was Zaman alayhi salam, that is who we should follow. And they're not going to know that if we don't tell them that. That's why Bibi Fatima asked Allah to send us, the nation of Hussein. That's why Bibi Fatima said on that day, my grandson Mehdi will take revenge. That's why none of the Imams raised arms against those who brought atrocity on the house of Fatima. That's why Hazrat Ali said that we're the luckiest Muslims of all time. And that's why our parents left Pakistan and came here so we could feel like outcasts in our own home and not fit in anywhere, to understand that we fit in with the people waiting for the Imam. So let's stop kidding ourselves about what this life is about. And let's cry because our mom is here and I can't see him. And it's my fault. And it's your fault. And it's all of our faults because we don't care enough. But that's going to stop. And inshallah, very soon we're going to be standing here. We're going to be standing with our Imam. And we're going to be thanking him for his presence. We're going to be thanking Allah that He allowed us to live long enough to see our guide, our truth, the proof. Imam Muhammad Mehdi Sahib was Zaman alayhi salam. Bar Muhammad wa ala Muhammad salawat. Muhammad, Ya Allah, please return Imam to us soon. Give him swift success. Help him live in this earth for a long time in peace and in happiness, and help us stand beside him. Please forgive the sins of our parents. Forgive the sins of our marhum. Forgive the sins of Kul Mu'minin Mu'minat. Help us all enter Jannat together. Ya Allah, whatever prayers everyone has, grant their prayers before ours, because your kingdom is limitless and we could wait. We'll wait. Answer everyone else's prayers and then answer ours because you've given us enough. Ya Allah, the children who sleep in mud and hear bombs above their heads all over the world, not just in Gaza. These children who are being oppressed and tortured, give their families strength. Ya Allah, raise them to be strong and allow them to have a voice. All the women, the children, the orphans, the widows, protect all of them. Whoever's in financial need, whoever's in physical need, whoever's sick, whoever has any burden, any oppression, release them of the oppression. Whoever's unmarried, these young boys, get married as soon as you can. Please send them good Muslim wives and good Muslim children so we can increase the helpers of the Imam when he comes. Ya Allah, please remove your nearness from anybody. Remove your mercy, remove your benefits from anybody who even thought about bringing atrocities on the house of Bibi Fatima Tazahra. And Ya Allah, please select us to be those chosen to stand beside our living Imam, Imam Muhammad Mehdi Sahib Zaman alayhi salam, and avenge the house of Bibi Fatima Tazahra. Allahumma salli Muhammad.
وتوجه زيارات. السلام عليك يا رسول الله. السلام عليك يا حبيب الله. السلام عليك يا باعث الهدى. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله. السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله. السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين وبن سيد الوسيين. السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء وبن سيدة نساء العالمين. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء. السلام عليك يا معين الضعفاء والفقراء. السلام عليك يا شمس شموس. السلام عليك يا أنيس النفوس. راضي بالقدر وقضاء علي بن موسى رضا. السلام على الأئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان. الأمان 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 من فتن الزمان. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان. سهل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله مخرجك ودهورك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. دعاء إمام الزمانة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كل وليك الحجة بن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك توأ وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.